Homies, let me tell you something. I am so glad I showed up today. I drove 6-7 hours from the Florida area I was lifting at, and, I got invited to the movies. And I'm like, I'm not going to say no. That's some homie time right there. Couldn't get enough of that. But that left me with getting home, unpacking the car, after sitting in the chair for 6 hours straight, and then immediately going straight to the gym for the very final last day of the program, last day of the peak week, the last day of this current new height that I've gotten to, which is amazing. I'm happy for it. And for those reasons alone, I was like, I got to at least try. I got to at least try to lock it in, do my best, So I'm at a point today where I'm like, I truly just want to just lift as best I can, I want to keep up what I have programmed, but I've put in the effort this week to where I would not be mad with whatever ended up happening. So that was a lie to myself, because I ended up pissing myself off pretty bad quickly into the reps, because I was in this mode. I was like, let's just take no rest like we've been doing. I've been very stressed for time all week. Let's take zero rest. Just do all the sets real quick in a row. And when you have proper sleep, when you have proper stretching, proper rest time, not sitting in a car seat for 6 hours straight, that's fine. Because I think the more you rest, the more it allows your core to settle, and then you aren't as primed to jump under the weight. And even if that was true or not today, it did not matter, because I kept, I was like, let's just keep it so simple, power clean, split jerk. Awesome. It's the quickest reps that I could imagine doing. So this was the first misconception of the workout, because, I was like, let's take it easy. Let's make it and in my brain, I was like, simple means easy. That is not the case. I just forgot that abruptly stopping the catch on a clean when you do a power, instead of following the weight all the way down, is harder on your CNS and specifically your low back, because you have to stop so much harder, slam on the ground so much harder, and fight back so much harder against the weight. So I had no expectations to go heavy at all, sure. But, when I got to 255, that was the initial stretch in the low back that I felt. And I'm like, no. I was like, fuck. Because the warm-ups did not look good. Let me tell you. 135, I pulled too hard. Split jerk's fine. 185, okay. But, I caught it weird. 225 was probably the most consistent rep, but still not great. 255, I was immediately like, damn. Did not get my foot out far enough. Caught it weird with my low back. Especially, people think that just the clean will hurt is the main thing that hurts your low back on a clean and jerk. But I'm telling you, that catch position in the split jerk, if you don't have your shoulders exactly where they need to be and the balance isn't properly distributed, you'll see I was putting a lot of the weight on my back foot today because my shoulders were not very primed and my low back especially was not very primed. And so that puts extra stress on the low back area that just has to support it so much more with the lack of overall strength that I needed to do the power movement. I should have stuck to something more technique, full range of motion based, but there is no shoulda, woulda, coulda. I did my best. Had to lock it in one way or another. So got to 275 because there was no pain at that point. And hindsight's a bitch, because if I had known what 275 was going to do to my body, I wouldn't have gone up. I did 275. The clean felt pretty beautiful. It was really, whippy, because I had to get under the bar as fast as I could to make it look good, but the clean was damn near perfect. I'm like, okay. Once again, caught the split jerk kind of weird, and you aren't going to feel those really deep striations, those really deep but minuscule, but again, important muscle tears, real deep in the fibers, until you put the weight down and relax a little bit. And when I sat down and I relaxed my low back, it started kicking. And I don't want to, there was definitely some more higher levels of discomfort. I don't want to say pain specifically, because I attribute pain to injuries specifically, and I could still move around fine. I had range of motion, but if there was any form of squatting or deadlift type form at all after that lift, I would not have been able to do it. I would have had to go home. And so I guess if that's the extent that it was hurting, we have to call it pain. I was at risk for injury. And I hate saying that, because it's tough for me to go through such a great week, and then on the very final lift of the day, I just chose to come in after all this traveling, and I was like, fuck it, let's just get it done. didn't lock in as hard as I needed to, didn't take the rest I needed to properly lock it in. An extra rest day with a proper workout is way better than a rushed program with a risk for deep low back injuries. Low back is a scary one, man. So I was like, okay, now is the time where I have to switch the mindset, because I have enough functionality, comfortability, and range of motion, technique, all that, to do bench, because today's bench day. And I'm like, I have enough to do bench. Out of everything, I'm lucky that bench is what I was left with. You know, it could have been any other lift, but it just so happened to be the one lift that I could properly do at the rate that I wanted to, you know, regardless of my low back feeling the way it did. I was like, we got to take it one weight at a time. Because again, on a peak week, if this were a light day, a deload day, even if it was the second block where I was going kind of heavy, on a peak day, you really need that tight squeeze in your low back, pushing your lats into your back as hard as you can. So I had to make the unfortunate choice to boulder shoulder my way through the bench press. This led to me, I can fully contract and push in my upper back and my lats, but the low back had to stay relaxed. It's not going to look exactly that way, but it was a lot more of a mind-muscle connection than it was visual. So all of the pressure was in my upper body, no leg drive comparatively to what I would normally do, you know? Just enough leg drive to get it up, but not anywhere near the power that I would want coming off my chest, you know? And that puts a lot of strain on my chest, on my shoulders, rotator cuffs, whatever. Everything upper body is now at a higher risk as well. So I have to just say, okay, we stopped ourselves just in time. I could have gone to 295 on the power clean and jerks because it was good enough looking, but it didn't feel good enough. So I stopped just in the nick of time. I chilled out, and I decided to go about it a different way to make up for it in that moment. Because if you've already shown up and if you've already committed to the workout, and if you still can lift, do the best you can. I don't care if it's just the barbell. Maintain your lifts at the least. So when it gets like this for me, I have to tell myself the weights no longer matter. It is truly just one weight at a time. I will treat 135 just as important as 315. You know, every weight now has to go at its own rate. And like, dude, the warm-ups up to 275, 295 were tough. They were very, very, very much locked in to my low back, because it's hard to stop myself from squeezing where I'm normally used to, you know? So, went a different way. And I was like, one way at a time, mostly upper body, boulder shoulder my way through. And every weight, man, especially with the homie support, every time a homie starts yelling at me, trying to get me hyped up, I have no choice but to do my absolute best. If I put the weight on the barbell, I have to commit 100%. That is my life philosophy, man. I have to give it my best in that moment. So, at that moment, I was like, all right, well, I got to 335, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, well, damn, dude. Now I'm at a point where I have zero excuse. I have hit the weight right before the top set well, you know, pretty damn comfortably and strong. And I'm like, I have to give it my best now. There is no option other than to fully commit. And, you know, at this point, I'm like, we're taking 2 rest days after this workout. You know, I don't know what the next step is going to be when it comes to whether I take 2 rest days or whatever in that department. But in that moment, I was like, all that matters is this 355 attempt, you know? So locked it in. And let me tell you, if you've seen it already at this point, the drive I had, this is exactly why I switched to stiff bar. I would not have had that same drive had I been doing that on the Olympic barbell. Let me tell you, that was so difficult compared to most benches I've done in the past year. But it was confident, man. I crashed a little bit at the bottom, but I was able to really put in all the strength into my arms, do my absolute best in that moment. It makes me so damn proud to be able to do something like that, especially on a day that felt this horrible, because it did not feel good today. It really didn't. So, regardless of all that, the biggest thing I really wanted to mention is how you have no idea whether or not you've stopped in time or not. It's whether or not you put in the effort that you have in that moment, and that opportunity that you've attained for yourself. So, something that you guys might not have realized, I haven't brought it up at all yet, but I stopped wearing knee sleeves this week. It was out of advice from the homie I worked out in the garage with, and he was like, well, the more you wear your knee sleeves, the more it'll keep your kneecap in place. There's not going to be enough blood flow, or won't have enough movement. And at heavyweight, sure, that's fine. But I was wearing knee sleeves every single warm-up set on all my lifts. So it's like every time, I was like, well, my knees do feel extra crunchy. So I guess at the very least, I'll try a different thing. And so that clean and jerk day was the first day I tried it. Squat day yesterday. Consistent again. I have not been this confident in my knees and all of my lifting in so long. And throughout all of this, I thought I could take these knee sleeves off and regret it, or I could view it as the next biggest opportunity for me to make actual personable growth in this peak, Like if I'm at my absolute best in this moment, why not use it to my advantage to try to open even more avenues of success when it comes to my physical wellness and all-around confidence in this sport, you know what I'm saying? And so, the knee sleeves, the bench press, everything, again, today was a rare day. If I had felt like this before coming in, you would not have seen me today. But it was an in-the-moment thing, and I had enough to go one weight at a time and maintain. Because I either just wasn't going to do the bench today, or I was just going to stop at a lightweight. But there was no question in my mind that I was going to give it my best to a single top comfortable heavy attempt. And if 335 is going to fly, I have to go up because that's what's in the program. That's what I've earned. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited to go on the deload. People who go through a true good program, I'm telling you, if you're training right, you will want to go back to lightweight when you get to that end of the peak. People should not hit a peak week and think, let's go higher. Because if you do, you're either stupid and filled with adrenaline, or you just haven't gone hard enough at all. And your progressive overload is more like a progressive deload, And so I'm so excited that I'm done. Not because I don't want to do it and I'm tired of it and burnt out. Solely, it is because I did everything that I aspired to do. Not just this month, not just in this program, but the past 6 months to a year of effort has led up to this point. I can't remember the last time weights like this have moved the way they have, And I couldn't be happier to be able to be here and try to continue this consistency. And I'm telling you, I'm about 95% sure I'm going to buy in a Lyco bar tonight. I know they're $1,000, but I have a little bit of extra money on the side right now. Oh, man, just the game changer it would be to have a consistently good barbell that has knurling, because the knurling at the crunch gyms are just gone. It is abysmal. And to have that confidence in not just my body and my program and my mental, but also the equipment would be awesome. Because right now, I'm using an Olympic barbell with no knurling, and I'm using a bench press bar that's meant for squats. And I have baby hands. I want a better barbell so that all of my lifts will come with it, Because it's not going to make me lift better. It's just going to make me lift more efficiently, the way I should be lifting. I shouldn't have to use extra grip strength or extra equipment to make up for the lacking of the equipment in the gym itself. So I'm committed, man, with this competition stuff I've been looking into, with this newfound confidence in the program and everything, even though my low back got torn to shreds today. Because, again, I trust me, I will not come into the gym after a 6-hour car ride again after this. I'm going to know better next time. But I'm so glad I got to go through it, because while I also stopped the 275 clean and jerk just in time not to go too heavy and really hurt my low back and give myself that chance at the bench press, I also went just hard enough to make it out and think, God, I cannot wait to get back into this even better. This is the first cycle I've ran in a year that has increased in weight naturally, progressively, confidently. So we're going to keep doing it. I might take 2 rest days. If my low back doesn't feel good tomorrow, especially because I work tomorrow night, I won't get to sleep at all. So if my low back's hurting tomorrow night, I am not going to plan on going until 2 days from now. But I'll keep doing my active rest, minimal stretching to make sure I don't over accentuate the low back strain, but otherwise couldn't be happier. Physically, absolute dog water, but we are so peaked and so prepared for these kinds of days and having the opportunity to go heavy that it just didn't matter. So, I mean, being real, physically, I really only felt like, I mean, even now, just because all that I could focus on was my low back for most of the workout, except for that last top set of bench, I'll give it a 7.8. You know, it's decent solely because the bench press brought it back. But, dude, other than that, there was no redeeming qualities. Today's physical wellness was not checked, but the mental strides through. I had to bring it back, absolutely. I was pissed off in the moment, but I still got to give it a pretty solid 8.75 just because I know I did my best. And the workout itself was not that mentally uplifting, sure, but it was the effort and the aftermath and the positive perspective I'll have looking back on this that will make me so forever grateful. I have posts on my Instagram from so long ago that I still look back at today to get me inspired to try to get back to that point, to try to get back to that new level of confidence with the body I have now. And this peak week is the first peak week I've had on my Instagram or whatever that I've recorded that I will finally, this will be the new standard. You know, this is it. So keep coming back if you want. I appreciate y'all hearing me yap about, but I'll be back in a day or two. I don't know, but I'll be back one way or another. You know, it's going to happen, but I'm going to take some good me time. I'm going to go watch a nice movie with the homies and just relax, man, because I have truly, truly earned it now. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me know how the lifts and lives have been going, and I'll be back. Start of the new program next time I'm here. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.